Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for joining me today. I'm really excited to do another portfolio update. This is going to be the last one for the year. Now, I've only been doing these for a couple of months and I've been trying to do them not as like it has to be right at the end of the month. I've just been doing them like when I have a lull in videos or something. So if there's like random dates and you feel like it's kind of random, that's why. But thank you all for joining me here today. My name is Joshua Castillo. I'm a value investor. I like to look at companies and research companies and figure out what people like to put their money into and what I want to fit into my portfolio, what fits my risk and reward, and that's the most important thing here on the channel. Now today we're going to be looking at my portfolio. I'm going to show you what I've been doing over the last like month and a half. I don't know how long it's been, but basically just show you what's been happening, if anything, any moves that I've made, and then basically that's going to be it for today. If you're interested in that, make sure to stay tuned, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment down below if you make any moves or anything, if you've done anything substantial with your portfolio over that time period. With that being said, let's dive right into this. So again, this portfolio is going to be through December 16th, 2022. I was going to originally do it last week, but I just didn't. So, market's been a little turmoil this week, so nothing too crazy happened though. And, let's dive right into this. So this is going to be my December portfolio. This is what I have so far. And I'm going to show you what it used to look like in the last video, but this is what we have now. The total portfolio return is only down 12%. And again, I've been trying to, get dividends, get some interest on the sort of cash holding position, as well as selling puts into different shares. I have a couple open orders for selling some calls, but really the important thing here is I've been just trying to minimize the amount down that I am. So overall, the total portfolio return is about negative $2,890. In total, we've realized some gains because of the dividends, but nothing too crazy. So with that being said, you can see on the right side, my cash is about 45% of my portfolio. Now, it's really not that much in terms of the total portfolio. I have about $8,800 worth of cash, but the broad majority of that is actually being held because of the fact that I sold puts on a couple of different companies. So it says 45% cash and, out of the whole portfolio, $8,800 is what I'm keeping right now, but it's because I'm waiting to see if these puts end up getting put to me, or if I'm going to they're going to expire and then I have to sell more puts or buy more shares. So that's what I'm waiting on. A lot of the cash really is just waiting on sold puts. So if you see that 45%, you're like, why is he almost all cash? That is why. But with the cash that I do have, it's not restricted because of those puts that I sold. I am sort of buying as I go along. So the payout yield down at the bottom right, right now total shareholder payout has been about almost $1,000. It's about 5% on the portfolio. And again, that's because I'm combining the dividend yields and the dividends that I've received along with sort of the interest and along with the any puts that I sell. So that's why I just call it total shareholder payout, because again, if these option contracts expire and I get some amount, I just put in that total shareholder payout. The dividend yield is actually like way lower. I don't even think I'm getting $100 a year annualized. So with that being said, though, let's keep going. Let's keep diving into this, see what we can see. Obviously, some of the positions you can see in those middle charts are down quite a bit, but let's dive right into it. So looking again, here's the October 31st chart. And again, if you look from last month to this month, so we're down in the total top middle piece, we're down $3,600. This month we're only at down $2,800. So, or basically 29. So making some headway there, and it really, as we keep going, as we keep growing, we'll see if this starts to go positive again. I used to be positive, but no longer is that the case. So looking at what the portfolio looks like in Fidelity, you're going to see, so top to bottom, Revolve is one of my puts that I sold. Sold it. It got $124 worth of cash. It's at a $15 strike price, and then obviously it's going to expire here in January 2023. So I'm looking forward for that to expire. If it does expire, and if I get the shares, I get the shares. Oh well. Meta platforms, that's down significantly. It's probably my most down position right now, and obviously it makes up a large chunk of my portfolio. You can see on the far right here, cost basis is about $4,600, and we're a little at half that. This has gotten all the way down to a total loss of, I think, like 60% was what it was at the bottom of this like 52-week low that we've had. But right now it's sitting at negative 48%. I'm waiting to see if I can keep adding more cash into my portfolio right now and eventually maybe buy some shares. I'm still doing some work on some other stuff. I don't want to like have it go down half, double down, have it go down half again, double down. So I'm going to continue to do some work and research on meta platforms, see if that if I want to just hold the position or add to it. Really depends on how much cash I can add in. Dropbox hasn't really gone anywhere besides just kind of sideways now. At about a plus 5% total loss, total gain, or about plus 5%, so not too crazy there. DJCO, ATVI, JPM, all about 5% as well. It's really been pretty volatile over the last couple of months, so glad to see it's green, but some of these were like green by a lot on the total gains, and now we're down just a little bit since last year, but you know, I like to see some green. Berkshire Hathaway, obviously a staple in the portfolio, 46% up in total. Intel Corporation, down 37%. I started buying a little too early. I thought that $40 was the range that I needed to buy in. Had I just waited a tiny bit, I could have gotten it even cheaper, but been averaging down as I go along. I've been really doing some research into some other semiconductor companies and semi caps, and I'm debating whether or not to just put the cash that I want to allocate to that sector, put it all into Intel, or split it between some of the other plays, so that way I don't necessarily rely solely on Intel, but maybe, you know, some of the semi-cap plays as well might be something that I'd be interested in. I'm just doing some research now. Warner Brothers Discovery, I've been adding to this position throughout the last couple of months, built it out a little bit over $1,400. So that's the cost basis at least. It's obviously come down quite a bit since then, so down almost 30% in total. Corsair Gaming, that one's also been jumping up and down. Been adding to it when I could. Again, I don't want to like go crazy in terms of doubling down as it keeps having. So every time it drops like 15-20%, I've just been doing more research. If I think there's something there, I'll buy. If I am looking at my other opportunities, I might put some money there. So it's really up to what the opportunities are at the time and what I see fit. So right now, the other two puts that I've sold, or I guess three technically, but the other set of puts that I sold that revolve $17.50, expires in April 2023. I sold 2 contracts, and that's about $220 worth of premium that I've gotten. And then recently we sold the CSV put at $20, which got me about $1.80. So $184 is the premium that we got on that one. You can ignore the like puts that I sold. It's going to be negative whatever the current value is, because technically the buy side of it, like if you were to buy the put, if I were to try to buy the put back, that's what it would be worth. So that's why it's that negative value, but nothing too worried. Again, $8,800 there at the bottom. So this is what my total year-to-date activity has been looking like. Total realized gains and loss. You can see here I have net short-term negative $444, net long-term of negative $1,600. I might do like a post-mortem on the 2 positions that caused this. I've really learned a lot, but we'll see. I really want to do a post-mortem, but I want to see if there's anything else I can learn while I'm kind of like going through all this to see and make sure that I don't make that same mistake that I did with those 2 companies again. But we'll see. I'll see if I add something. I'll definitely make a video out of it if I do a post-mortem on it. But option sales, you can see at the bottom, $787, and then obviously the ordinary dividends at the top is $174. So in total, we've made some money as well as taken some tax loss harvesting, unfortunately. But, you know, I'll take it. So this is the activity since October 31st. Obviously, we bought some shares. We bought some WBD, bought some Activision. You transferred in $400 of cash, bought some more WBD, sold a put on CSV, and then obviously got some dividends along with that. So again, the selling the puts is basically almost like a dividend. I just call it a shareholder payout because that's really, you know, that's what it is. If I buy the shares, I want to buy the shares anyways. So I get premium along with buying the shares, which really that means my net outflow is a little bit less than it would have been. So that's really why I include it in there. And then basically, so these are, I just kind of have 3 companies I'm going to talk over real quick. So CSV, if you haven't seen my video, make sure to click on the channel and go to the most recent. It should be the most, like one of the most recent videos that I did. I did sell a put at $20 strike price, and really the theory behind all this is we've got an aging population. The aging population has one of the highest net worths of any population, or like any generation. So that's part of it. There's going to be continuous acquisitions from CSV, buying other companies, trying to get more market share, trying to gain more free cash flow in this space. So I really like the opportunity there. They're going to continue to deleverage. It's been one of their talking points as of recent. So I like a little deleveraging on the company. I think it's very important that companies do that. And then obviously, good management team. I like where it's at currently, and that's why I decided to sell a strike at this. And really, if I put the shares, that's ideal. If I don't get put the shares, I might reevaluate and see if there's another put that I can sell, or if buying the shares is just a better opportunity overall. But at $1.80 versus a $20 strike price, that's a pretty good return overall, especially just to wait till January 2023. So I was willing to do it. I like the opportunity. I actually had like an open, when I sold it, I had like an open order and it randomly just filled like on a Monday. And I was like, all right. And I was the only volume for that day at that strike, which is pretty crazy. So I thought that was pretty funny, but I liked that I made this move, and I'm fine with owning at $20 if it goes below that. Warner Brothers Discovery, current holding is about $991, and again, that's my value, like the market value of the position, about 5% of my total portfolio. I like David Zaslav. I like the management team. They got a large content library. One of the things is that they do have a messy balance sheet. They also did talk about the fact recently that the restructuring costs may go up $1 billion. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. They got a lot of debt, and management really needs to work on reducing that debt. But the catalyst here is the fact that if they can kind of stabilize the business, stabilize the balance sheet, then obviously grow Discovery Plus and HBO Max, which they're going to probably end up combining. But there's a lot of like moving parts here that I think WBD has. And if the catalyst, plays out correctly, there could be some good returns. If it doesn't play out correctly, this will probably stay where it's at for at least the next couple of years. So I think long term it could be something, but in the short term, you just got to eat the volatility and hope that management continues to make the correct decisions going forward. Last thing I got is Activision Blizzard. So current holding is about $836. That's about 4.2% of my total portfolio. If it drops back down towards the lower 70s, I think as of making this video, it's about $76. If it drops back down towards the lower 70s, I might add like 1 or 2 more shares depending on the pricing. But I'm trying not to build it out too large, because if the acquisition doesn't go through, I think that this company may either go down 30, 40, 50% probably, because it was trading at about $40 a share before the acquisition was announced. $40, $50 I think was the low, what it hit. So I want to be able to average down and not be super high up and then have to average down from that, because I don't want to make this like a giant position in my portfolio. But I like the opportunity in this. I like the acquisition opportunity. Obviously, that locks in the amount of return that you can get. So buying lower is obviously going to get you a greater return, but I do like the opportunity. I think that Microsoft will be able to close it. Whether or not you believe it's correct, I'm not sure. I'm not here to argue, but I do think that Microsoft can close the deal, especially because they're going to probably end up giving a lot of different handouts to try to get this deal to close. It's very important to their business. Now, what am I going to do next? I'm really interested in learning more about the semiconductor space, the semi-cap space. So companies like Micron, KLA, Lam Research, AMAT Materials, and just different companies within that space that I can see. I like TSMC, I like AMD, I like, all these companies that fall under that umbrella is what I'm looking into. So I think what I'm going to start doing is putting out research videos on those. I'm already trying to line up the KLA one. I had some information on Teradyne, and I also did, like a couple of months ago, I did a video where I kind of talked about Teradyne. So I'm looking forward to talking about these a little bit more, but let me know if you have any companies you want me to look into down below and do a little research video on. I know some people don't necessarily want or care about the semi-cap space, so I understand if you want to look at something else. Let me know down below what you're interested in. With that being said, that's the end of the video. Have a great day. Happy investing.